Look, I'm trying to think how to even word this without just screaming. that room was so bad last year. It was legitimately embarrassing.
You can't win a Super Bowl if your quarterback is terrible. It happens.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily rare.
We won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier having Tyreek Hill on the goddamn offense.
Two things can be true at the same time. The Chiefs are a really good team. The Raiders are an absolute disaster.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Over Tucker Franklin, hanging out with Matt Verderame for your Monday edition of that football show. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon, getting us ready for a week that is going to be loaded with pretty much nothing, and hopefully nothing. Right. If you are a Chiefs fan, we are coming off of the first Sunday without NFL football. Matt, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
I am. I'm doing good. Doing better than the NBA's competitive balance, which is just a continuous problem.
Yeah.
But not doing as well as baseball fans who've got spring training going on. Although I am excited that the season's back. I'm trying to get back. Like I used to be a hardcore baseball fan. Like I would watch a game every night. I watch 2 games sometimes every night. Now the 8 days just absolutely. I hate the ownership. But in any event. Good. Did have to go to not one of my kids, but one of my oldest daughter was invited to a birthday party, and that kid's parents, the mother is like best friends with my wife and has been since like middle school.
Gotcha.
So,
oh wow, way back.
Yeah, so I got dragged to that, which, at first I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I like being social, so like I'll hang out, whatever. And then you get there, and you just see the people involved. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm just gonna hang out in a corner and try to blend in with the furniture, like anything to get away from just general society at this thing. And then I saw like ham and cheese on Hawaiian rolls. I'm like, all right, at least that's here. And then they're like, oh, sorry, by the way, we torched the rolls. So, like, awesome, great job. I'm like, how hard is it to? Like, what are we doing here? But anywho. I'm here. We got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna kind of set the scene, I think, for the offseason ahead, because that's what this week's all about. We're gonna be at the Combine next week. We got a reservation on next Monday for St. Elmo's. True. Gonna get big fat shrimp cocktail, and we're gonna bring Kissel out there. And if Kissel doesn't have his own shrimp cocktail this time, if he splits it again, I'm calling the feds. So you're on notice, Kissel.
I haven't even told him you got the reservation yet, actually. I probably should have told him. I forgot to tell him that you got it because, look, I think you got the reservation like after we got done recording the last podcast that we had. I think it was like
9:00 at night on a Monday. So I mean, that was all we had left. But I usually just go and like just wait, and they'll oh yeah, okay, it's like me. Like I'll bring like one other person. We'll get in there, and oh yeah, that table's free. And, so we'll probably just show up like 8 and then just try to weasel in early. And if not, go to the bar and get loaded.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pace ourselves. I don't think on Monday is a great opportunity because I mean there will be several other days after us where we will have plenty of content for you at the Combine, the NFL Scouting Combine that is coming up next week, a week from today. Like Matt said, we will be out there. We will have content for you, and we'll have plenty of stuff out there. So we kind of want to do maybe, I don't necessarily think this is like an off-season primer, potentially a free agency primer, maybe what the Chiefs need primer, but we're going to be talking about all off-season stuff pertaining to the Chiefs on today's podcast. We're setting the scene. That's what we love to do here on this podcast. We love to paint you a pretty picture with words about how everything is going to go down. But we're also going to be doing some power rankings. We're going to power rank the positional needs, like how important the hierarchy basically of the positional needs that the Chiefs have. We'll do that later on in the show. But Matt, we've kind of been looking around at some mock drafts though too. Like, of course, a part of the scouting combine is obviously the new guys coming into it and the draft aspect of it, mixed with the free agency side of it. All of those things kind of intertwine in together. The scouting combine is where all of that kind of comes to a head. But looking at these mock drafts already this early on in the off season is kind of funny because like there's a whole like free agency period to go on that'll dictate like a 95% of how these teams will draft.
Correct. Yeah.
But we start to see a little bit of a clearer picture of what what's being talked about around the league of how the Chiefs feel about some stuff and how the Chiefs feel about some things. As we head into this offseason here, Matt, what's been one of the biggest things that you've taken away from, the mock drafts you've seen, some murmurs around the league about how the Chiefs are heading into this offseason?
So a few things that are general, but also apply to Kansas City. I think one is just from both reading what other people that I trust, who I know follow this stuff extremely closely, like it is, the Matt Millers of the world, people like that.
Right.
This is a very deep draft for receivers.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very deep draft for edge rushers. So if you're the Chiefs, that's music to your ears. Okay. I think one misconception with this draft, I've seen a lot of people, the kind of, the hardcore fans who say, well, it's a weak class. I don't think that's true. I think the reason a lot of people feel like that is because a lot of times it's judged based on the quarterbacks. And this is a weak class for quarterbacks. Everybody agrees Mendoza probably is the number one. He's the number one pick. If not, he's certainly up there. And then maybe Ty Simpson's a first-round pick. We'll see. Okay. And after that, nobody's in the conversation for being the number one pick. People tend to look at that and go, oh, well, it's a bad draft then. This is a draft that's deep defensive line, deep receiver, lots of corners. Like, I think this is a draft where it's good to have a lot of stabs at the apple. It bites the apple, if you will.
Yep.
I am not going to sit here and pretend like I am this all-knowing draft expert, because quite honestly, it's not my job at SI. My job at SI is to cover the league, and then as the season ends, and I get caught up on the draft, which I've been working hard to do. But I will never know the draft as well as a guy like a Todd McShay, a Mel Kiper, a Matt Miller, on down like Daniel Jeremiah, Eric Edholm, guys like the guys who live and die with the draft. And so when I read stuff that they write, or I ask one of them, I'll shoot them a text, whatever. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you see? That seems to be the general thought. Now, all that in mind, we mentioned we're going to the combine next week. I always want to, before we even get into this, I want to just lay this out on the table right now. The combine is going to change a lot of things that have been out there for a while. And here's why, okay? Everybody's going to watch these guys running 40s and these guys going through these drills, a 3-cone and the vert jump and the bench. Not saying that stuff doesn't matter. But unless that stuff falls way outside of the expectation of these teams, it doesn't really change things. What will change things here are the interviews and the medicals. Mm-hmm. Every prospect will go through the medical evaluations. Every prospect will do a car wash of interviews with these teams.
Yeah.
Those things will change the trajectory of somebody's goes, hey, this guy, you know what? We're worried about it. Like, for an example, okay, Jordan Tyson, receiver out of Arizona State. Mm-hmm. He's had some injuries. If his medicals come back really clean, that's huge for him. If they come back and it's like, man, you know what? He's got some concerns. We don't, we can clear him to play, but like, might be a one contract guy, really don't think he's going to hold up in his 30s. That guy might go from being pick 10 to pick 40. Like that.
Absolutely,
that kind of stuff happens. Conversely, you might have a guy who's maybe had some injuries. Hey, clean bill of health, expected to run a 4.5, runs a 4.41. That guy just went from being pick 45 to pick 15. Mm-hmm. But going into it, we're going to kind of set the scene. Little idea. We'll talk about our ideas of what their biggest needs are, and then go from there.
Yeah, I think that when you start to look at this Chiefs team, let's just lay it out there. The positions that they need, the positions that they need to address. Obviously, the defensive line is going to be the big one coming out of here. Let's talk about it from all sides of it, Matt. When it comes to the defensive line, look, you're going to need tackles. You're also going to need some interior guys as well. I know Omar Norman-Lott is coming back off of injury. Hopefully he can have a great rehab and can maybe play some 3-tech for him, right? Maybe don't force him to play 50 pounds, force him to put 50 pounds on and then have him be a nose guard. I don't think that that's probably the right move, but who am I to say the philosophy there is going to be good. Ashton Gelati, again, another rookie coming off into a second year. Hopefully he can find take a second year jump instead of a sophomore slump here. That'd be great for him there. But then you start to look around that defensive line room. Charles Minihue, he's a free agent. Mike Dana's you're probably gonna have to cut bait with Mike Dana just because of the cap casualty. I think you call it a cap casualty, but you're pretty much okay with letting Mike Dana.
I don't think you're upset. I think the Chiefs are actually going to race to try to do that.
Yeah, the problem with all of the defensive line is if you start to cut all these guys, like you don't bring Charles Minihue back, Mike Dana, who's going to line up? You're running out of bodies out there that they have there. So obviously defensive line, edge, rusher, interior guys will be addressed. I think obviously Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell are not going to be back as of now.
Let's not rule anything out.
Let's not. Maybe the Chiefs will trade for him.
What does the live show look like? What does the reaction show look like if they give Nottie 3 and 45?
Man, it's just me laying on the couch back there with all of the lights off is what it is. That's the live show. Let's
not rule out the Chiefs being like, what do you think about an extension?
Gosh,
it'd be great just for a bit if they let him go and then they trade for him again right before the season starts.
Just like a future conditional pick. I don't even know if the terms of their conditional pick conveyed because
just make it like a 5th. Why take any chances?
Yeah, right. Don't
put like a hilarious condition in there. Like if he plays 8 snaps, it goes from a 6 to a 5th, and then just keep him at 7 for like a month and a half. Yeah, but at all costs. No, listen. There's no question. And we'll get into the power rankings, but of any room that will be remade the most, there's one on each side of the ball. It's just painfully obvious, right? The running back room, there's a real world where like none of those guys are back except for Brashard Smith.
Sure, yep.
And on the defensive line, you could make a real honest-to-God argument that Jones and Karlaftis, of course, Norman Lott and Gelati, again, of course, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have 5 new guys in the defensive line. So just those 2 rooms alone, you might have 8 new players on the roster.
That's insane.
And like real guys, not like, this filler, like, oh, we know who's going to start. Like they just need to fill in the back half of the No. Like real dudes on the field for major amounts of snaps. But listen, we picked out 2 mocks that are very, very different.
Yes,
one from NFL.com with Chad Reeder and one from Field DH over at ESPN. And I think we picked them out because I think they can be a little different flavor. And look, so a couple things as we go through these, and we'll be brief to get to the Chiefs, but want to start with Field at ESPN.
Yep. Let's do that.
So I'm just going to read off the first 8 picks he has and then stop for a minute. So number 1, the Raiders, he's got Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Indiana, which I think is at this point, right now, it's a consensus choice. Now we'll see if it is after the combine. Right now, it's consensus. 2, a pick that's not consensus, but it feels like it's starting to become that.
It's getting close.
Arvell Reese, who's an edge rusher from Ohio State. He can also play inside. So there's some talk about like where he's going to line up in a defense, but the Jets edge, Arvell Reese, Fields got him going there too. Cardinals, taking a tackle from Miami, Francis, how do you say it again? Goa?
Moigoa is what I think it is,
okay.
But I could be very wrong.
Let's just go with that. So Francis Moigoa will be a professional by the time we get back from the combine. Francis Moigoa at 3 to the Cardinals, which makes a lot of sense when we get to why in a second. Titans with Borgonzi as their GM, taking David Bailey, the edge from Mahomes U. Number 5, Giants, Caleb Downs, the safety, where they would pair him with Javon Holland, who they spent a lot of money on last year. Spencer Fano, tackle out of Utah for the Browns at 6. Carnell Tate to the Commanders at 7 to pair with McLaurin, and then Jordan Tyson at 8 to pair with Olave in New Orleans. Now,
kind of nice.
Yeah. A couple thoughts. All right, look. Everybody and their mother agrees the Raiders just desperately need a quarterback.
Yes.
Okay, let's just put that aside. Everybody at this point feels Mendoza's going to go there. There is no other quarterback at this time that most people feel is worthy of a top 10 pick. Okay, the Jets, you could argue, look, if there was another quarterback, that's who they would take. But there's not.
Correct.
Okay, there's not. Because the kid Moore out of Oregon saw that the Jets were picking second and decided to go back and basically lock himself in a room.
And so he adjusted for Jets.
Man realized, yes, he adjusted for Jets and realized that he'd be better off working at like a grocery store. So he is not coming out. Dante Moore, he's not coming out. Arvell Reese, I think that's a fairly standard pick right now for a lot of people. Listen, he's He's a super talented kid. He's got positional versatility at the second level.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets don't need a number one receiver.
No.
They don't need a tackle. You could argue a corner, but there's no corner we're taking it to, seems
Not
like.
really.
So
Yeah.
front seven makes sense, and Reese is probably the best of the players in the front seven. You get the three. Cardinals last year, they drafted a ton of defensive help.
Mm-hmm.
They signed defensive help. The offensive line has been a struggle for years. It would make sense if they go for a tackle. 4 is, to me, a wild card with the Titans. Now, again, Field Yates has them taking David Bailey off the edge. The Titans, you could make an argument, have the most bereft talent of roster in the league, or bereft roster of talent in the NFL. They could take a receiver. They have no receivers. They could take a tackle. They gave up a ton of sacks last year. They were in top 3 in sacks a lot. They could certainly take a pass rusher to pair with Jeffrey Simmons. Again, they could take a corner. I just don't think there's a corner there. That team is probably the first team, at least right now, that I'd be like, I have no idea. They could take anything.
Mm-hmm.
Borgonzi's talked about the fact that he's big on the lines, so that would make the most sense.
Sure, yeah.
But that's where we are. Number 5, the Giants. Here's what we know about the Giants. Okay, they're not taking a receiver. They have Wan'Dale Robinson. I know is a free agent. They can bring him back. And, well, of course, we'll know by the draft. Malik Neighbors. They have the left tackle. They have their quarterback. They have a tremendous front 4. So Caleb Downs makes a lot of sense for them. That would, and I also don't think they're taking a running back there because they have Scattaboo and they have Tracy. That would make a lot of sense.
Right.
I think that Downs would make a lot of sense, although they could take a tackle to pair with Thomas. Because that line is absolute super mega ass. Okay.
It's really bad.
And or Jets. They could go that route.
Yeah.
6, the Browns. I think if a tackle's there, a tackle makes the most sense for the Browns. That line was brutal last year. They've got a million guys hitting free agency. The one thing I think we definitely know about the Browns, that pick's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. I just cannot imagine them taking anybody on the defensive side. 7, Washington. They have them taking Tate here. They could pair somebody with McLaurin. The other argument is, quite honestly, that defense was horrific.
It was bad.
They could take a corner here. They could take Downs if he's there. They could pair up McLaurin. So kind of like the Titans to me. They're a little bit of a wild card. Then 8, the Saints. They've got to take a Jordan Tyson. A lot of people think they're going to take Jeremiah Love here. They also, I could see taking Delane, the corner out of LSU, of course, is right up the street.
Yep.
Because if they lose Alontae Taylor, that's the route they could go. So then at 9, that leaves the Chiefs' options in this draft. Okay, Jeremiah Love is there. Reuben Bain is there. Mekhi Lemon is there. And so we'll get into. They have the Chiefs taking Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Which, if he's there, unless the Chiefs have signed a major running back, that's going to be really, really hard not to take that guy at 9.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll get to the positional need here momentarily. But the point is, look, I think if you're the Chiefs, just looking at the needs of these teams, just laid it out. Okay. Commanders are a wild card. Titans are a wild card. But there's a very reasonable shot that Love is there if the Saints don't take him. I just don't think any other team's taken him in the first 8 picks, except for maybe New Orleans. And I think there's a real chance. Look, man, if the Titans don't take Tate, I could be wrong. The Commanders and the Saints both have top-tier number 1 receivers. And they have a million needs. The Commanders have so many needs on defense. The Saints have a lot of needs across that roster.
Across the board, yeah.
I would think the Saints would be more likely to take Love, quite honestly. Because Kamara's over 30, all that stuff.
Correct.
If Carnell Tate is at 9, is Mahomes just screaming through the war room door? Just screaming at the entire organization? I understand that there's this whole argument right now. Who's better? Is it him? It's Lemon? Listen, I think the world of Mekhi Lemon. Carnell Tate when you watch that guy, that guy is about as polished a player coming out of college as like you're ever going to see at that position. There is nothing wrong with that guy. Like you watch him, you're just like, he's everything you'd ever want. That being said, what are your thoughts on that mock draft and just kind of, generally what we're looking at here?
So I think what Fields mock draft does a really good job of portraying is that there are all kinds of options open at number 9 for the Chiefs. Regardless of how they go, whether it is running back, and Ruben Bain is still on the board there too, if they wanted to go Ruben Bain. I think that my top 2 guys right now, if you ask me on February 16th, what my top 2 options are for who I want the Chiefs to pick at number 9, it's probably Jeremiah Love 1, and it's Ruben Bain Jr. 2. For me, that's what I feel, because I think Jeremiah Love's the best football player in this draft. Now, I know that positional value-wise, where you want to use a running back, sure, but I think Jeremiah Love is the best football player that is in this draft. I think his explosive talent is undeniable, and in a running back class that is not very deep, it's like Jeremiah Love and these other guys, right? Like, you're not getting another running back that probably plays meaningful time. It's probably his teammate, and you're probably getting him late day 2, right? Depending on how he tests. So running back, if that is something that you want to address, if you feel comfortable getting Jeremiah Love at number 9, you probably, sign maybe a middle tier guy in free agency, go into free agency with a guy that, could take some snaps for you, could start some games for you. But knowing that Jeremiah Love is probably going to be on the board, you do that there. Ruben Bain is a guy where, Matt, you and I were kind of talking about this beforehand. There was a couple of positions, a couple of teams, I should say, that would be primed to take a defensive lineman, and David Bailey is probably going off the board before Ruben Bain is. Even though I think look at a Ruben Bain, I think that guy's probably a better all-around football player, but I think there's going to be a team that falls in love with what David Bailey does and on the tape, and rightfully so. Like, he jumps off the tape, but he's not the all-around, all right, let me stop the run too. He is playing pass, and maybe I'll grab you on a run on the way to playing the pass. And David Bailey is a guy that is going to jump off the page for a lot of these guys when it comes to his measurables. He's going to be a guy at the combine that I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in, especially the teams that want to draft defensive guys early. And now in the Field Yates mock, they have David Bailey going 4 to the Tennessee Titans. Like, I think that's an incredibly high possibility. The KC Laboratory and the KCSN draft show that they did on Friday, they have David Bailey going to Washington. So regardless, and I don't think David Bailey really fits what the Chiefs want to do or Steve Spagnuolo likes.
From what Spags typically looks for at the end. Bigger guys who can play 3 downs, all that stuff.
Ruben Bain's arm length is going to be a big conversation, because we know that Steve Spagnuolo loves the arm length in a lot of these guys, but he is a lot more. He's more true to what the Chiefs like to do in terms of their edge rushers. Now there's been conversations about Ruben Bain possibly playing interior defensive line too, and we know that the Chiefs love that positional versatility with their defensive lineman ability to play inside and outside. So in this situation that Field Yates laid out here, man, this is pretty darn close to a best case scenario, I think, when you come to look at the board. And we haven't even started the conversation about wide receivers too. Like, I think Jordan Tyson is a phenomenal wide receiver. They have him going obviously 8. And like Carnell Tate as well is an insane wide receiver. Mekhi Lemon is a nuts wide receiver. You then start to wonder about how many first round picks, like how many years of a first round pick are you going to start to use on a wide receiver? Now, Rashee Rice is a second round pick, obviously, but then you have Xavier Worthy with a first round pick. How much assets you're going to put into there? When you go over and look at their R-Lads depth chart, they've got a lot of green, and the green right now on R-Lads this is an unrestricted free agent. There's some free agency going on. They've got 3 wide receivers right now that are 3 agents with Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton. Yeah. And right now, under contract, they have 3 wide receivers and Nico Remigio, who's an exclusive rights free agent, which is essentially under contract.
And he's not a receiver. He's a returner.
Correct. So you're looking at right now a wide receiver room that doesn't have a ton of guys, a ton of bodies, I should mention, in it, or really guys or dudes in there.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, like, Royals is a huge unknown. Worthy is talented, but this year was, I won't say it was a disaster, but it was really underwhelming. He got hurt, played through a million injuries. Mm-hmm. And then Rashee Rice is about as reliable as a car without an engine. So
I don't know if you saw what was going on Instagram.
Yeah, I did. And I got to tell you, look, every time he does anything in public, I just think to myself, this is going to be the last year he's in a Chiefs uniform. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if they're not going to retain Rice after this year, who the hell's on your team as a receiver?
Right. It's Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals.
I think so. We're going to get this in a minute here. I think receiver is a way bigger need than some people think it is.
It's sneaky,
that team, bro, let's say Kelsey plays one more year and they don't want to bring back Rashee Rice. Who is catching the football for them in 2027? Yikes.
That's a great question.
Right? We'll get into all that. But I really think if you're the Chiefs, listen, and listen, of course, all this hinges on what are they doing free agency? Sure. If they bring back Brian Cook, are they going to draft Caleb Downs? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. If they don't, and Caleb Downs is sitting there at 9, they might do that. Would I love them to draft Carnell Tate? Yeah, but if they sign Romeo Doubs and Mike Evans, then or something like that, then they're not drafting Carnell. So there's all those caveats apply. I will say this: one position I don't think there's any world where it would preclude them is D end.
Oh, if they're active in free agency at D end, they'll still probably take a D end.
Who are they signing that they'd be like, we're not taking David Bailey or Ruben Bain? Who?
Right. I mean, you look at the defensive.
You're not signing Boye Mafe and being like, oh, we're good now, we're done.
Right.
And if you are, then that's a really, really bad fucking process. I can't imagine that they would do that. I have to think the Chiefs would sit there and go, hey, listen, we're going to, I think there's a very big possibility the Chiefs had a big time running back in free agency. I think there's a real possibility the Chiefs had a significant receiver in free agency. I don't know who the guy would be who's a D end, who they would sign in free agency and say, we're good.
Oh, that doesn't exist. Yeah.
That guy's not there. Trey Hendrickson, but they're not saying Trey Hendrickson. So,
no.
There's no, I could see them signing a Boye Mafe to continue that example, or, a Kiwity Pay type or something like that. Yeah. That's not going to stop them. If Ruben Bain's at 9, they love Ruben Bain. They're not going to be like, well, hold on a minute. We signed Kiwity Pay. So they're not going to do that.
Right.
Which is interesting. But no, then the other side of the coin, which is just a draft, it's kind of a food for thought thing. I'm going to be honest. I like Chad. I've met him a handful of times. He's a very nice guy. Does very good work. His draft was far different. Now, he had the same 3 picks at the top: Mendoza, Reese, and the tackle from Miami, Moigoa. He actually had the same 4 picks. I'm sorry, Bailey to the Titans. So he's got all that, but then it changes drastically. He's got Delane, the corner out of LSU, going 5 to the Giants, which is not crazy. The Giants, they took Banks years ago out of Maryland. He's been awful. They need somebody there. He's got the Browns taking Mekhi Lemon, which, look, I'm not saying the Browns don't need a receiver, but it feels like the Browns, so much.
That's like if your car's transmission is going out and you'd be like, yeah, I really need to get new interior. Yeah, I need to get some new upholstery in the seats. Right. Yeah.
So that pick really does surprise me, of the 8 to go before the Chiefs. And he's got the Commanders taking Downs, which, okay, fine.
Sure.
And he's got the Saints taking Love, which is completely reasonable. Mm-hmm. So that means, if you're keeping track at home, Ruben Bain, Spencer Fano, which I don't think Chiefs taking tackle, but he's there, and Carnell Tate are all there. And so is Jordan Tyson, if he tickles your fancy. Mm-hmm. And he's got the Chiefs taking left tackle Caden Proctor, who would then switch from left to right tackle. Listen, I understand the national thought of hey, they're probably going to cut Juwan Taylor. They need a right tackle. Bro, if they take a right tackle, who, to your point, pre-show, also played nothing but left tackle prior to this.
Yeah.
If they do that and Ruben Bain and Carnell Tate are on the board, I'm going to drink a gallon of Patron in about 12 seconds.
Ben Holiday is what you mean, yeah.
Well, of course. Well, that's bourbon. I was looking for the tequila. It feels. I can't drink tequila. It makes me sick as a dog.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. You want to actually hate yourself while you're doing it.
Well, I don't want to waste a holiday. Right?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's good.
I'm just going to throw the tequila up.
Yeah, I see the thought process there. I see it.
So, the Patron is garbage compared to the holiday. Anyway, So, like, with all due respect to Chad, if the Chiefs did that, I would lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, no, I think it's reasonable.
Also, for the record, for just he has his mock is 3 rounds. He has the Chiefs at 40, taking an edge. Who actually is a really interesting player, Akeem Mesidor.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that at 40. Like, I really, truthfully, like, that's what makes me okay with that. Yeah.
If memory serves, he's an older player, right?
Yeah.
He's like 25 or something.
Yeah, let me Google this real quick, but he's pretty old.
But man, he's a talented player, man.
Yeah, he'll be 25. His April 5th, 2001 is his birthday. So
I would not have a problem though in the second round taking that kid.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
He's 6'3", 265. He's actually a Canadian. He's from Ottawa. Lance Zierlein in his little blurb here, he compares him to Jonathan Grenard, which if the Chiefs got Jonathan Grenard at 40, sign me up. So he's got Mesidor going one spot ahead of Zion Young, by the way, out of Mizzou.
Shout out to Muzzy.
Yeah, and then in the third round, he has the Chiefs taking
Katron Allen. Yeah, Katron Allen.
Yeah, Katron Allen of Penn State. So, yeah, point is, Chiefs should have a decent amount of options at 9 that are enticing.
Yeah.
Question is, what do they do with it? And that's where I think we're headed next.
And they better not use an offensive tackle on it.
Oh my God, I would go insane.
Yeah, if they use an offensive tackle, like that'll be worse than kind of like us last year with offensive tackle, right? Because we thought that they kind of had things figured out with Jalen Moore, and we kind of.
Yes, the difference is like they actually have left tackle figured out now.
Yeah,
sure.
right.
As long as
and they have Jalen Moore on the roster. That's the other part of it. It's like you have Jalen Moore on the roster who's making $18 million.
Who played well.
Yeah.
And you also have Esapole who played well, like shockingly well. So I just look, man, if Bain and Lemon and or Tate are at 9 and the Chiefs take a right tackle, I am going to go insane.
Yeah,
and normally, like, I'm all for building up front with the big uglies, but I'm sorry, like you cannot.
I'm looking at the Chiefs roster right now. They only have one offensive lineman who is any sort of free agent, and it's Mike Caliendo, who's a restricted free agent. Which you're probably good, Mike. You're probably good on that, I think. They don't even have anybody up. Like, obviously, they're gonna like cut Jawan Taylor to save some money. We think they will do that. But like they've got a lot of offensive linemen already. Like they don't have room for another offensive lineman really when it comes down to it, because you've got Wanya Moore, so you have Chu Godric, you've got Ethan Driscoll, who they really like and who is a massive human being, Jalen Moore, Esapole, like they like CJ Hansen as a swing guard. We'll see how that turns out. But
whether they should or shouldn't, we can debate that. But
yeah, Hunter Norzad, Kingsley played really well. Trey Smith, I'll be interested to see if they try to restructure his contract even after giving it to him a year later. Trying to restructure that would be interesting, just with all their cap space. But that's kind of the scene setter for you there of where the Chiefs are. Let's take a break real quick, and when we come back for the break, we will power rank our biggest positional needs for the Chiefs, where we think they are kind of on a hierarchy. I'm curious to see where Matt and I rank on this, where we measure up on where we think the Chiefs' biggest needs are. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Chiefs.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
All right, Matt, it's time for power rankings. I haven't done power rankings in a minute. The last time we did power rankings, actually, we decided we had a consensus list on accident. Curious to see how this one ends up. But if you're new to the show, power rankings is pretty self-explanatory. We'll go from 5 to 1, taking turns between Matt and I, picking deciding where we rank the Chiefs' biggest positional needs. Self-explanatory. You'll understand once we get rolling, Matt. You're 5. We're going to go 5 to 1. Number 5 for you, Matt.
All right, so there's a couple at the top that are just
that's yes.
So depending on what they do with McDuffie, this could change. But as we sit right now, I would say that number 5 for me is linebacker.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Bolton's going to be there. Chenal's a free agent. I've seen a wide range of forecasts for his contract. I got to tell you, I don't think Chenal's getting paid a ton of money. I don't think there's any reason. Like, guys get paid in the NFL typically at linebacker because either they have a huge resume behind them or they are really, really, really good at either coverage or typically rushing the passer. Well, in 4 years, he has 7 sacks. I like Leo Chenal, but he has 6 passes defensed in 4 seasons. He has played more than 41% of the defensive snaps once. I think the Chiefs could keep Leo Chenal for a very reasonable price. I think he's a good player. I think he's a useful part. I don't think he's a player who's going to command the starting salary. I just don't. I don't think there's any evidence of that. I am of the belief that they're going to cut Tranquil. So if all that happens, okay, maybe they bring back Chenal. They need depth and they need another starter. So I have that at 5.
I think that's a very strong one. I've been waffling back and forth by what I want to do at my 5, and it is both on the defensive side of the ball. A lot of these, spoiler, are going to come on the defensive side of the ball. And I think I'm going to go with safety at number 5 for me. You look at the safeties right now. They got obviously Brian Cook, Mike Edwards, for what it's worth, is a free agent, and so is Deion Bush. Right now with safeties, they're rolling with Shamari Connor, Jaden Hicks, Chris Roland Wallace, technically.
Won't play.
Yeah, I mean that room is wildly interesting, and I don't think it's like sneaky that's like a sneaky need, but like Brian Cook, he might be in a unique position to make more money for the Kansas City Chiefs than he would anywhere else, just because he has more leverage. Because when you look at who else is out there, I'm looking at the R-Lads page right now. All of their free safeties are free agents right now. And they're probably not going to re-sign Mike Edwards because he doesn't have knees. And Deion Bush is a career special teamer. So like he has a unique position where he has the kind of the safety market cornered for the Chiefs in this point. Yep. Now, could they move Shamari Connor or Jaden Hicks to one of those free safety spots? Sure. But again, that's only 2 guys, and you like to have at least they like to have a 3 safety rotation. Like they like to have 3 guys that they play regularly. Whether that's Chris Roland Wallace coming out there and playing some safety too, who knows? Right. But I think safety is a sneaky one for the Chiefs here.
So I have safety at 4.
Okay, perfect.
So look, I really think the Chiefs should pay Cook. I am of the mindset that I would pay Cook, and next year when his cap hit spikes, I would just cut Nick Bolton. That's what I would do to save that money, and I draft a linebacker. And I know that the Chiefs are probably going to pay Nick Bolton. He's 50. I would just
be a deal,
bro. When his athleticism starts to dip, you know what that's going to look like out there. Like it's going to look like a guy trying to run with like one ankle and a crutch. Yeah. Okay. Cook also at this point is kind of the captain of that back end.
Yeah.
And if you lose that guy, you lose more than just the play on the field. You lose the smarts. He's a heavy hitter. Brian Cook's just a really good football player. He's not a great player. You mean never make a Pro Bowl. He's a really good, solid football player. He is the kind of guy that they should be trying to find in about 5 other positions this year.
Right.
And I don't know why you let that guy walk. He's young. He's a homegrown talent. And like That is one position I actually do think the Chiefs really value based on past experience with Tyrann Mathieu and Justin Reed. Like, they pay those guys. They're willing to pay safeties. But like, I cannot imagine if this team has to play Jamari Connor and Jaden Hicks next year. They won't play Hicks. They just refuse to do it.
Yeah.
Spagnuolo basically flat out in a presser said last year he makes too many mistakes. We don't trust him back there. Jamari Connor, I actually think he's a good safety, but that would mean they'd have to stop playing him at slot corner. And so I can't imagine they'll do that. Safety for me is 4. I think even if they bring Cook back, they've got to draft another safety. Mm-hmm. But you're not beholden to drafting one super high if you bring him back.
Sure. And like, again, you could, if you do Cook, I don't know how many like safeties out there that you'll bring back with Brian Cook in free agency is the other part of it too, though. Like, right. I think it's probably like trying to get an injection of youth cost control talent with the safety position there. Number 4 for me, I've got defensive tackle. And D tackle, specifically interior defensive line, because you look at what the Chiefs have on their roster. It is their pass rusher has been Chris Jones and friends for a while now, right? But like, it's Chris Jones, it's Omar Norman-Lott, and it's Zach Pickens. Those are your defensive tackles right now. Absolutely brutal. They've got nobody on the inside. They got nobody who like really wants to play the run. I mean, Chris Jones even last year was like, yeah, Spags doesn't like it, but I'm going to play the pass, and maybe I'll run into a running back when I play the run, is what he said. Omar Norman-Lott was always kind of a pass rushing specialist when he was coming out of Tennessee. Like, they played him rotationally at Tennessee during only pass downs. Like, that was kind of what Omar Norman-Lott was. And Zach Pickens is a practice squad guy. So it's like, they don't have any defensive tackles, any run stuffing noses. They got any just one techs? Nope. They got nothing there in terms of
anybody with talent outside Chris Jones. No, sir.
And their free agents right now are Jerry Tillery, who couldn't. What an experiment that was, Matt. Like, that didn't work out. Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell both are, I think, 47 years old when it comes down to it. Looking at the free agent market right now, and I don't think they'll go out here and pay big money for like a DJ Reader or a David Onyemata, Daquan Jones, but like John Franklin Myers could be an interesting one that they could kind of
would be a very
get
nice
after.
Pickup, honestly.
Like, I think that would be good. And I think that there would be Peter Woods is another guy that I think he probably won't make it to the second round when the Chiefs pick up 40. Maybe he does. And I think that would be an interesting guy there. But they need some help on the interior of that line. So it's just not the tackle room. The D tackle room for a long time has just been Chris Jones and guys. Like, it is just not even guys. Like some
I mean,
schmoes.
The best D tackles they've had in his career next to him are Sherman Wharton and Colin Saunders.
Which Tershawn Wharton last year, by the way, towards the end of the year, was a healthy scratch for the Panthers. So I don't know what you would have.
And was signed to a $51 million contract. Yeah. Well done. Listen,
honestly.
So the top 3 needs for the Chiefs to me are just like, any order you want to throw them in, you're not going to get an argument out of me.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I actually would say, oh God, I keep going back and forth in my head. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to be a little conservative here. I will say the number 3 is receiver in the immediate.
Okay. Yeah.
I can make a real argument. It's like literally number 1, but I'll say 3 because I think right now that there are 2 rooms in this team that are so bad that I just can't justify putting receiver ahead of either one of them for 2026. Yeah. Look, the receiver room is a massive problem. Rasheed Rice is so incredibly unreliable. Yeah, he's got talent. Like you could tell me that Rasheed Rice is 1,500 yards next year. Sure.
Mm-hmm. I believe
you can tell me that Rasheed Rice plays 4 games and is no longer running on the right side of the law. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. I
would also believe that. Yeah.
Totally in play. Like maybe serving a sentence. Who the hell knows? Like, he is so incredibly unreliable. Worthy. I honestly love the guy's talent, but it just feels like he's one of these guys. It's like, is he ever going to put it together? Or is he like, I know he's an NFL player, but is he more than like a number 2? Is he ever going to be more than that? I don't know. I love Tyquan Thornton, but they're going to treat him like he is allowed to play football for them? Like, is he going to come back? Mm-hmm. Because if I'm Tyquan Thornton, I'd be like, hey, are you going to play me? Because I'm not signing here otherwise. And then there's just all this other shit. Like, you have no idea what they're going to do. Like Juju, I think, should be the easiest walk of all time. I also see she's like giving him like a 5-year extension. Yeah. And then you have Jalen Royals, who like they wouldn't even play at the end of the year. They refused to put him on the field.
Yeah.
I really think at a bare minimum, the Chiefs have to use a top 100 pick on a receiver, and they've got to sign a meaningful player. By meaningful, I mean someone who will play at least, if not more than 50% of their snaps. Like Romeo Doubs. Look, I want a guy who's younger, but like Mike Evans, if you're just looking short-term fix.
Yeah.
Wan'Dale Robinson, if he somehow gets out of New York, like they need somebody who plays real snap. Not like, oh, we got this guy who's going to have 25 catches for 350 yards. No. Like an actual guy. They need to add 2 meaningful players to that rotation. And if they don't do that, you are one injury to Worthy away. You are one bonehead decision by Rice away from just, hey, guess what? Juju was available in week 12, and we brought him back. Like that's where you're sitting if one thing goes wrong.
Would you pay Romeo Doubs 2 for 24?
Oh, he's going to cost more than that. But yeah, in a heartbeat, yes.
Which is crazy because I don't think he should. I'm not a big Romeo Doubs guy. I'm not. He's not my flavor, right? Not my favorite flavor of ice cream there, Romeo Doubs. Like Rashid Shaheed right now, his market projection on Spot Track I'm looking at right now is $14 million. I think he's probably going to make
I'm a big Shaheed guy. I like Shaheed a lot.
I like Shaheed too.
He's got Shaheed.
Yeah.
And if, by the way, if they got him for 3 and 42, I'd sign him in a heartbeat.
Right. Alec Pierce is a guy that I think made himself a little bit of money this season too. I'd be curious if they could get him.
He's going to get paid. He's going to get 400.
So from my understanding is what Colts fans want to do is they want to sign him and then cut Michael Pittman. And if in that case, if Michael Pittman becomes like a free agent, yeah.
Dude, that's like, if they do that, she should be screaming into the phone to get Michael Pittman. Okay, right. Michael Pittman's career, for anyone who's maybe like not paid that close of attention, which I get, like he's in on the Colts. Michael Pittman has had, here are his last 5 seasons: 1,082 yards, 925 yards, 1,152, 808, 784. All those years except for one, at least 80 receptions, 24 touchdowns over that span. He's played with me as his quarterback. Okay, I would sign that guy in a heartbeat if they did that.
Yeah.
That would be objectively hilarious, but continue.
It's incredibly short-sighted on Colts fans' part to be like, oh, he didn't really have that great of a season last year. Now Pierce is better than him, so let's cut him and his contract. His contract might spike up this next year. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not familiar with Michael Pittman's contract off the top of the dome, but that might be a part of the case. Like, again, like the free agency, you're not going to sign Debo. He's 30. Mike Evans is 32, as you mentioned. But like Dobbs is one that like I could probably convince myself to get behind just because he is 25 years old, right? And like the age of Romeo Dobbs probably makes me feel a little bit better. Same thing with like Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is turning 26 here pretty soon, and like he's pretty young,
right?
But I also have wide receiver at 3. That's what I have down there too. And I think it's a position where, as you mentioned, you got to go out and you sign somebody and draft somebody. Whether that is like, again, I'm not necessarily saying like if you get to pick number 9 and Tate's gone and Lemon's gone and like you have other options to go elsewhere. I think this wide receiver draft, and this is going to be true for the next 150 years, I'm pretty sure.
You take a guy at 40.
You can take a guy at 40. You can take a wide receiver in a draft in the 2nd, 3rd round and be okay because wide receivers are going to be a bountiful position for years to come in the draft. So I'm not like, again, like what you said, there's these 3 positions right here, which I think we both have the same 3 positions that like in any order I could have convinced myself, and I was waffling back and forth between where I wanted to put these. Wide receiver this year immediately is probably not the biggest of concern, right. But for 2027, yeah, I guess it's a big issue. 2027 is a big one. We got it too.
I'll get to two. Is that one thing about Dobbs? Spotrac has him at $12 million a year. I think he's going to get more like $15 million a year. But if the Chiefs could get him for like $3 and $36,
I'm gonna say yeah.
if you're getting him for the Josh Palmer contract, Rob giving him Josh Palmer's contract. Like one thing about Dobbs too, I would keep in mind. Just my opinion of this.
Sure.
You're talking about a player who has spent his entire career in Green Bay, where they have had like 4 different receivers that they try to masquerade all as like number ones. It's like him and Watson and Wicks and Jaden Reed. In Kansas City, I think he has a little bit more of a defined role.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think Dobbs is by any means a number one. I think he could be a really nice number 2.
Thanks, fair.
Speaking of number 2, all right, needs.
Boom.
Oh God, like it's so massive.
It's almost like this is like a 1A, 1B.
I was just gonna say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, all right. I will actually say it's D line. I'm just gonna group the whole just D line.
Okay, all of the entire D line. Okay,
I'm okay with that. Yeah. Pass rush.
Yeah,
like
pass rush guy.
The only reason I put it below what is obvious, I don't think I'm really adding suspense here. The only reason I'm putting it below running back is because their running backs were so fucking bad last year.
Yeah.
That is one of the rare times I can honestly say I've ever seen an offense where I watched it and just thought, this running back room is so bad. It is bringing down the entire offense with it.
Actively sabotaging the offense.
Like they literally can't function because of how bad these guys are in the backfield. Listen, the D line, the pass rush of the D line, I like Norman a lot, even though they made him add 700 pounds to his frame. I actually thought he played well. Jones still is Jones. Karlaftis is a good player. But the problem with that room is the guys who I didn't just mention, they were so bad that it was non-functioning. Look, nothing against Ashton Gelati, okay? He's a rookie, whatever. Ashton Gelati played a lot of snaps for them last year. 47%. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
He had 8 quarterback hits on 485 snaps. Now, I get like half those are the run, okay? I understand it. He had 1.5 sacks, did nothing. I'm sorry, man. That's nothing. That's peanuts. I don't care. 3 tackles for loss on almost 500 snaps. You kidding me? And everybody, look, you want to get on Karlaftis. Now, Karlaftis, of course, is a much higher, expectation level. Karlaftis has to have a better year than he had last year. Karlaftis hit the quarterback 23 times. He had 10 tackles for loss. He was at least productive. Now, granted, I'd like to see him have 10 sacks, not 6. Okay, but the point being, I'm a believer. I think Karlaftis is a good player. I think his contract's fine. I think Jones is still a great player. They have got to find somebody who can just be good. They don't need Myles Garrett. Love to have him. They don't need Myles Garrett. They need 2 or 3 guys added to that room who are legitimate football players. Maybe that's, for an example, I use them early. I'll just stay with the example. Boye Mafe, another guy who can get here, Boye Mafe, Ruben Bain, and some guy who can get 4 sacks next to Jones. Just 4 sacks. Just give me a guy who can push the pocket, and now all of a sudden I've got a Danico Autry type. Okay, so I've got that player, Jones, Norman Lott inside. I've got Karlaftis, Boye Mafe, and Bain. That's a real room. That's a real okay, we're cooking with some gas here. Assuming Bain turns out to be a good player, right?
Right.
That is. I'm now 6 deep up front. And then maybe you fill in with, a run stuffing D tackle and maybe another draft pick, and you got Gelati. There's your 9 guys. That's a real room. But they've got to add, in my opinion, multiple bodies, like meaningful bodies in free agency, not this bullshit where it's like, oh, we got some guy for $800K who's got one leg and half of an arm, and we think he's going to be able to create some pressure inside. No, you got to like go get a guy who can play the fucking sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not some dude who it's like I don't want some guy like, oh, 10 years ago he had 3 sacks. Like they got to add some bodies. They need to remake that room behind Jones and Karlaftis.
It's stark when you look at who all is out there right now that they have. And again, we already mentioned, like, they're probably going to cut Mike Dana. Yeah. So then you're looking at your ends being.
Oh, there's no problem. He's getting cut.
Yeah. Ashton Gelati, Ethan Downs, George Karlaftis, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, and a Tyreek Smith is currently who's under contract.
Those aren't even real people. Those are like when you play like the show and they just create like 20, 30 rosters for the Cincinnati Reds. Like that's who you just reeled off.
They probably need to sign like 3 guys and draft 2 to like actually fill out this roster. It is. I've got edge at number 2 as well, just because of a lot of the reasons you got. Like they got nobody. Like they got George Karlaftis is out there, but like, is there anyone outside of George Karlaftis that gives you any threat of a pass rush on the defensive end side of things? No.
Jones, when he plays, start down.
Yeah, Jones, and he's 32 years old. And, like, that's the other part of the whole thing. So, it's bad. And I assume you got running back at number 1 just because right now,
that room is, I gotta be professional to some degree here. That room is often what you say about fanatics. Okay?
Fair.
I mean, that room is so bad. Listen, Kareem Hunt as a short yardage back, fine.
Did great.
Fine. He's actually very good, to be fair to him. He's very good at that role.
Mm-hmm.
And Brashard Smith is an interesting guy who's worth developing. Elijah Mitchell, really, to be fair to the guy, through no fault of his own, is a total 0 last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to be totally fair about this, or at least I think I am. Isaiah Pacheco, for a couple of years, beginning of his career, was a legitimately good player for the Chiefs. He was a plus running back for the Chiefs. And he broke his leg against Cincinnati, and he wasn't the same when he got back. And when he came back last year, he can't run. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no, if he ran a 40 right now, which mind you, when he came out of college, he ran a 4.4 flat.
Yeah.
Bro, he's got to be running like a 4.65. He can't move. Yeah. Like I feel bad for him. He can't. And I don't know what. Like he was never a big vision guy, but his vision over the last year or so. Oh my God, he can't. And I think part of it is like he was used to just being able to accelerate and hit the gas. And he just can't do it. Like there's just nothing. And so if you're Kansas City, look, last year they knew, and I know they knew because I've had conversations with people in the building. Like they needed to change up the running backs, and they kind of felt like, okay, well maybe we can bring back Pacheco. He'll be healthy this year. That's fine. Didn't work.
Right.
I don't see any other option for them other than they need to, at a bare minimum, sign a meaningful running back. Think Tyler Algier-esque. In free agency, if they sign a guy like that, they then have to draft a running back. The scary thing with that is if they don't get Jeremiah Love at 9, bro, the running back class is not good. Okay? If they don't do that, they need to draft a home run, or excuse me, they need to sign a home run hitter. Kenneth Walker, a Travis Etienne. There's, by the way, a report out, I believe, from Jonathan Jones of CBS. Hope I'm getting that right. That the Jags are not likely to tag Etienne and that he's likely to hit free agency. I got to tell you, man, if he hits free agency, if I'm the Chiefs, I'd make him one of the top 5 highest paid backs in the league. I wouldn't even blink.
Yeah.
You want 4 and 48? Done. That guy can catch the ball. He can run. Like he's a perfect fit for what they do. Breece Hall, if he's there, same deal. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Pay him. Because I got to tell you, I love Jeremiah Love. His talent is off the charts. If they don't take a real running back off the board in free agency and they go into the draft sitting there on a 1-year Kareem Hunt deal and Brashard Smith, there are going to be some nervous times in Kansas City. Because if Love goes off that, but you're fucked, man. There's nobody else you're getting.
Yep.
I think number one, running back is so bad. Like at least the pass rush, as bad as it was a year ago, you have Jones and Karlaftis. Like you have somewhere
Correct.
to work off of.
Yes.
Where you have nothing to work other than like if it's third and a yard, you have nothing to work off of with that running back room.
I'm looking at the position right now. Isaiah Pacheco, free agent. Kareem Hunt, free agent. Damian Pierce, free agent. Keontae Ingram.
I forgot Damian Pierce even existed.
Right. Yeah. So did Andy Reid. Restricted free agent for Keontae Ingram. At one point, they had 8 running backs on this roster, Matt, with in terms of practice squad.
Not one of them good.
Active roster and injured reserve. Yep. Not one of them good. Everyone's favorite Chief for about 3 months. Carson Steele is now with the Philadelphia Eagles in their practice squad. The only running back they have under contract right now is Brashard Smith. So, look, it might be an aggressive overreaction from my stance as I'm wearing my run the damn ball hat, but I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be upset if the Chiefs went out there and they signed Etienne or they signed Breece Hall and then also drafted Jeremiah Love. Like I would truthfully probably be okay with it. Is that too aggressive? Yeah, it is. Like I'll say that right now. But if they did that, I was like, okay, they actually want to build a run game around Patrick Mahomes for the first time in his career. I think I could justify that to myself where they, running back's a position where guys miss games. Like that is just a fact. Starting running backs will miss an average of like 3 games a year. And so you got to have a few guys that you feel comfortable toting the rock, and you got to fill out that room. And clearly they have not filled out that room since Damian Williams. Do you think Damian Williams was the last reliable running back they had?
Like Spencer Ware.
When they had Williams and Williams, in
the law firm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm trying to think how to even word this without just screaming. that room was so fucking bad last year. It was legitimately embarrassing that was an NFL running back room.
Yeah.
I have seen teams. Look, I cover the whole league at SI. I watch all these teams, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watched like week 14 of the Cardinals. Okay, I don't hate myself that much.
Yeah,
but
good point.
I've watched plenty of teams over the year where you're just looking at them and go, oh my God, like that, nobody, the breadth of talent, whatever. They are so brutally bad at that position. It's pretty hard in 2026 for running backs to just take down your entire offense.
Yeah.
They couldn't throw an intermediate pass. Like they literally could not throw a pass to the second window of the defense because it was always slammed shut because teams just backpedaled through play action. They're like, yeah, all right, that's fine. Do it. I mean, go watch the Houston Texans tape. Like, I'm dead serious. Anybody out there who's got access to the film, the all 22, go watch that tape. The Chiefs pretend to hand the ball off. They don't even blink. It's like they're just backpedaling like the Chiefs are in 5 wide.
Yeah.
Like, you go ahead. Who cares? By the time he accelerates, we'll just hit the hole and stop him for 1 yard. Like, it's, people wonder why are they either checking down or throwing 40 yards? Because there is no second level.
Right.
There's nowhere to go. When you're throwing to the second level, that 10 to 15, 16 yard range, you have to move the linebackers. They can't do it. It's unbelievable. How the running backs are so bad, they couldn't pick up easy yards on the ground because they didn't exist for them. They also couldn't pick up any kind of an intermediate throw.
Correct.
So every single gain that team had was some underneath bullshit 5-yard swing pass, or you had to try to throw over 2 levels of the defense and hit a guy down the field. Let's be honest. Like, if Thornton wasn't on the field, which he wasn't because they had to play Juju 95% of the snaps, like, their only options were Rice, who, as terrific as he can be, where is he best? Intermediate routes. That's what he's best at. And Worthy, who, when he's not running a go ball route down the sideline 5 yards out of bounds, like, a lot of his best stuff, if you go back and watch Texas Xavier Worthy, his best shit is the middle of the field. Like, they have no ability to do it because running backs on the Chiefs are like, hey, we're gonna fake inside duo, or we're gonna just run some inside zone out of gun. And you're like, all right, well, no one in the world cares if you either fake that or actually do it. And so
Right.
I do think signing Breece Hall and drafting Love is a bit aggressive. But I'll tell you what I don't think's like Tyler Algier to me is really underrated. He's a really good player who just kind of fell behind Bijan Robinson. I would sign Tyler Algier in a heartbeat and draft Love.
No,
in a heartbeat. Like Algier, before they drafted Bijan Robinson as a rookie, had 1,000 yards on 4.9 yards per attempt. The guy had 8 touchdowns last year on 143 carries. The year prior to that had 4.7 yards per carry. Like, he's not a great player. He'll be 26 in April. But if I could get that guy for like 2 and 10,
yeah,
and then also draft Love, hell yeah, I'd do it. You just see that offense? Like, that room is so bad, man. It's got to be number one.
yeah, it's brutal. I'm looking at, you talked about Isaiah Pacheco and his like speed declining, and I went and I looked this up. I was like, how the Chiefs, running back room wasn't necessarily the most dynamic. When you talk about Kareem Hunt as well, what was his top speed this year? I'm looking over here at next
8 miles an hour.
Well, he got over 15 miles an hour 12 times this year, but Patrick Mahomes got over 15 miles an hour 36 times.
Dude, that is just like
oh my gosh!
So times when Pacheco did that were they like gauging his car when he was leaving the stadium?
They might have been because also this is on 64 carries for Patrick Mahomes. He hit that 36 times, right? Over 15 miles an hour. 118 carries for Isaiah Pacheco. He hit it 12 times. No 20-mile-per-hour rushes for the Chiefs this year. I think the fastest player for the Chiefs this year was Tyquan Thornton on one of those plays that had happened, but God forbid he plays at all.
I mean,
did
Kareem Hunt ever get over 15 miles an
hour? Twice. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco had the same amount of 10-plus yard runs.
Yeah, I believe that would be 10 plus yards.
10-plus yards, yes. Kareem Hunt had the longest run this year. That was against Jacksonville. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know as a team, they only had 3 20-yard runs, and one was Mahomes.
Yeah.
And one was Worthy.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Their run game is so bad. Like
there could be movies made about how bad they were running the ball. It is. Mm-hmm. Do you know how possible it is to have whatever they had 500 runs 3 fucking times? You got over 20 yards. Just the odds. So like you hit a hole and you made some guy miss. And it's not like if you watch them, you want. Well, they just never created holes. There are holes all over the place. Mm-hmm. Like they were blocking their ass off up front. They just couldn't hit anything.
And somehow I'm looking at this, and they give, again, goes into these advanced stats. How it's so just stupid. Success rate, they gave Kareem Hunt a 49.1% success rate, which, like, sure, whatever. Isaiah Pacheco's was 37.3. And I wouldn't say that 37% of the time when Isaiah Pacheco got the ball, I had said that was successful. Like, maybe we should gauge it like that.
What are they giving him a successful run like that? He just didn't fall over behind the line of scrimmage? Like what?
He didn't fumble, so that was successful.
Oh my God. Like what world? Are you kidding me? That's nice.
Patrick Mahomes' successful rush rate, by the way, 56.3%. His rush EPA was plus 30. That's crazy.
Listen, I mean, Galaxy brain take. Do you re-sign Gardner, make him the quarterback, and just put Patrick Mahomes in the power I?
Yeah, I think so. I think they need a fullback.
Next show we'll do is what? Right before the combine. Then we're there. Then we're in Indy.
Right before the combine, yeah.
We'll do a show live from St. Elmo's.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. We should just bring the mics and just set it up on the table, They'll be all right with it, right?
I'm just in a food coma for my shrimp cocktail, followed up with whatever hell. I'm going to get some massive seafood dish afterward.
Good. Yeah, no, you should. I'm trying to see if there's any fullback free agents. That's what I need to double check. Pat Ricard's a free agent. Reggie Gilliam.
Dude,
Michael Burton. Oh, shit, Michael Burton's a free agent.
Gilliam of Buffalo, he's really good. I would imagine 28. Buffalo brings him back. Yeah. I would love to see the Chiefs get a real fullback. Stop this nonsense. Like Ricard's a damn good. Either one of those guys, I'd be thrilled. By the way, like Charlie Kohler of the Ravens, tight end, that blocks like a 6th offensive lineman. that is one thing the Chiefs, like that is a trend of teams getting guys like that. The Chiefs need to invest because Noah Gray couldn't break a pane of glass with a sledgehammer. So they need somebody who can block at that position.
Tight end was sneaky for me. I almost put tight end at number 5 for positional need. Tight end was
cut Noah
really
Gray.
close.
It's up there, way up there.
Yeah, no, we're pretty close. I think we just like you've got linebacker, safety. I went safety, D tackle, but then you obviously hit D tackle on your pass rush at 2. Right. But yeah, I think that is certainly a power ranking. We'll get that graphic tweeted out. You can tell us how much we suck at all of the power rankings. Give us your own thoughts. But Matt, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I got nothing. I'm done.
That's good. I bought some more stuff on eBay, so I'm excited for that to come in.
Nice.
Love the platform. Love the platform. But I think that's going to do it for this Monday. I should stop saying this week. It's like we've done this show.
We've had enough.
Yeah, we've done 2 times a week for long enough that like you would think I would be done saying this week. But no, we are opening your week and hopefully you have a phenomenal week.
Right.
Leading into what will be the NFL Scouting Combine next Monday. So appreciate everyone hanging out with us. That's going to do it. So thank you for all of the kind comments on the show. And make sure to tweet at us if you have anything from Get Up or anything else you want us to talk about. Tweet at us at Matt Verderame, at Tucker D. Franklin. You can go find us there on the Twitter. But that's it. So we're going to have plenty of content for you at KC Sports Network. The lab will be live on Monday night. We'll have the KCSN draft show coming out midweek as well as on the weekend as well to hold you over, to give you all of that draft content leading into this enticing and incredibly interesting offseason and important, incredibly paramount offseason that the Chiefs have in front of them heading into that. So for Matt Verderame, I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you guys so much for listening all the way to the end of the podcast. We will talk to you guys on Friday.